Welcome back to Hen House Files, where the stories are spooky and the feathers are always ruffled. Today's tale is like fireworks gone horribly wrong, because one family's 4th of July celebration ends not with a bang, but with a whisper from the other side. So fluff up your feathers, perch somewhere safe, and make sure your coop is ghost-proof. This is the story of the house on Bellfire Hill. Cluck cluck, let's begin. Every small town has that house. The one kids dare each other to run past. The one the mailman skips if he can. The one where the grass refuses to grow and windows always seem darker than they should be. In Bellfire, West Virginia, that house sits at the top of a dead-end road, half hidden behind charred oaks and a rusting wrought iron gate. It's known simply as the Bellfire House. In the summer of 2009, the Penbrooke family, Mom Julie, Dad Aaron, and their two kids Miles, 10, and Kayla, 13, were driving out to visit Julie's estranged uncle's old property. She had inherited the home after he passed, and the plan was to turn it into a rental cabin. It needed work, but Julie remembered it from her childhood as a big, creaky house with personality. They arrived on July 3rd, just before dusk. The town was gearing up for its annual Independence Day celebration. Bellfire didn't have much, a gas station, a diner, and a flag-lined main street, but everyone came together on the 4th for fireworks and a cookout. Julie thought it would be the perfect way to reconnect with her roots. But as they pulled up the gravel road, their GPS froze, and Kayla asked, "Is that smoke?" A wisp of gray drifted from the chimney. Julie froze. "No one's supposed to be here." Aaron shrugged. "Maybe an old flue. Probably just settling. But something about the smell, it wasn't wood. It smelled like something older. Like ash." The first night passed without incident. Just the normal sounds of a 100-year-old house settling. Creaks in the floorboards, wind whistling through the gaps in the window panes, distant scraping. But by the morning of July 4th, Kayla looked pale. "I heard someone whispering all night," she said at breakfast. "It was coming from inside the closet. It kept saying, 'Don't forget the fire.'" Aaron brushed it off. "You watched that horror movie last week. It's just your imagination." They went to the town's cookout, mingled with locals, ate corn dogs, and watched a parade. An older man in a veteran's hat pulled Julie aside. "You're the one who bought Bellfire House?" he asked. She nodded. "You should leave before dark." Julie laughed nervously. "Why?" But the man didn't answer. He just walked away. That night, the fireworks began around 9 p.m. From the house back porch, the family had a perfect view. Miles ran inside to grab marshmallows, but didn't come back. When Aaron followed, he found Miles in the upstairs hallway, staring at a door they hadn't opened yet. "The door was locked," Miles said, "but it's open now." Inside was a bedroom blackened with soot. The wallpaper was curled and brittle. The bed frame was melted, but nothing else in the house had fire damage. And scrawled into the scorched wall in something deep red, maybe paint, maybe not, was a single sentence: "The fire never left." Julie demanded answers from the sheriff the next morning. He was reluctant, but eventually gave in. In 1954, on the 4th of July, a man named Caleb Horn had barricaded himself and his family inside the Bellfire house and set it ablaze. The townspeople said he'd become obsessed with cleansing the evil. Only he survived. They found Caleb covered in soot and blood, muttering about burning out the rot and how the house fed on pride and patriotism. He was committed to a sanitarium where he died in 1983 on the 4th of July. "What about the room?" Julie asked. "It was the nursery," the sheriff said, "where his children died." Back at the house, strange things escalated. Kayla began waking up with ashes on her pillow. Miles said he saw a boy in burned clothes sitting at the foot of his bed. Aaron smelled gunpowder in the hallways, even when nothing was lit. And every clock in the house, digital, analog, battery-powered, stopped at 9:47 p.m. That was the time the fire had started in 1954. On the evening of July 5th, the front door slammed shut on its own, all windows locked from the inside. The power went out. Julie tried to call for help, but the phone battery instantly drained, even though it had been fully charged. Kayla screamed from upstairs. When they ran to her, she was standing frozen in front of the fireplace. The fire, which hadn't worked in years, was roaring, and in the flames they could see faint silhouettes. A man, a woman, two children, burning, over and over again. Then the whispering started. All at once, the house began to heat up. Every mirror fogged, and the air filled with that same acrid smell from before. And through the crackling flames, they heard it again. Don't forget the fire, or it will never forget you. Aaron found the breaker panel in the basement, hoping to shut off whatever was fueling the fire. But instead, he found something worse. A second staircase, one not on the original blueprints. It led into a sub-basement filled with charred furniture, toys, and a circle of children's shoes, all blackened and lined up as if waiting for inspection. Above the circle was a noose, swaying gently despite no wind. Julie screamed from upstairs. In the living room, the fireplace had exploded. Flames licked the ceiling, but instead of catching, the house absorbed the fire. The walls pulsed with heat, as if breathing. Aaron grabbed the kids and kicked out a side window. They tumbled onto the porch roof and down into the yard. As they ran to the car, the house began to glow, not from firelight, but from within, like a furnace. And then, silence. They never looked back. The Penbrooks sold the land 6 months later. No one has purchased it since. Locals claim that every year on the 4th of July, you can still see fireworks, but not from the sky. Instead, from the windows of the Bellfire house, glowing red, white, and blue. And if you listen closely, over the crack of phantom fireworks, you'll hear a voice whisper from the ashes, "Don't forget the fire." If this story didn't roast your feathers, I don't know what will. On Hen House Files, we scratch up the scariest tales from the darkest coops, so if you're clucking with fear, make sure you peck that like button, roost on subscribe, and share with your brood. Until next time, keep your beak sharp, your wings tucked in, and stay far, far away from Bellfire Hill. Cluck you later.